$600 pension 10, 15 years ago won't buy much of anything here today.
And why the millennial generation is starting to give up because they can't afford to get a good job or own a house.
8 million Venezuelans voting for this assembly, saying it's actually three.
It is. And people are going to start rioting in the streets.
Was reported to have asked Putin for military support that would help him stay in power.
We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
And they ignore him. And 8 more years goes by till Bernie himself finally admits to his sons, hey, I've been running a Ponzi scheme.
Does its dominance mean it can use the alliance for its own ends?
Since 1981, bond yields, also known as coupon rates, have just gone down and down and down.
The Federal Reserve note will be your biggest financial liability.
RTD Live Talk. We're live. It's officially back in the saddle. Been out of commission for quite a while, but yet we're here. Want to check in and find out what's going on and kind of get back in sync a little bit. As you guys know, last week was just doing something a little different, taking a little time off, and so still managed to get out some have a couple nice live streams when the internet connection would allow. But as always, my name is Mike, the host of RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. I want to welcome everybody to this live stream on the 9th day of the month of April. And so with that being the case, let's check in and see who's tuning in. More importantly, because I've been out of the loop, haven't been able to keep in touch with you normally do. So I want to find out what's on your mind, and so you guys can help me stay in the mix. So that being the case, we got Witch Hazel, we have Student of Life, Queen, we got Scott, we got Blunt News, we got James. How's everybody doing, man? Other than that, what is going on? And it looks like I'm frozen there for a little bit, so we'll see if we can get this in order. But other than that, I want to keep it going. So as always, won't be on here long this evening. Kind of getting a late start, but just wanted to check in, let you know I'm back, and looking forward to trying to get back on course and go from there. But so we got Prophet Doom says a double-dipped recession. So recession is a topic of discussion, and we have a call. Let me find out what's. I think I missed that call. Oh, here we go. Let's see what's going on. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, I'm Brian, calling from Kentucky.
Brian from Texas. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind this evening?
Yeah, man. I got a family member that he works with precious metals, and I found this out recently.
Yeah.
And he doesn't buy no bullion. He doesn't do any of that. What he does is he tests the metal before it goes to China, and it comes in blocks bigger than 400 pounds.
Yeah.
So I had to pick this guy's brain, and he said to me that they're getting their gold from the Bank of Canada, and it's coming in 0.99, so like almost 24 carat.
Yeah.
And he said everything's going to China, and that company he's working with. And I asked him about silver because he said that basically I told him, I said, the miners, they put 1,000 pound blocks, 1,000 ounce blocks to go into from the mining to make coins from. He goes, oh, we don't do that anymore. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, it comes in what looks like, crushed ore, and we refine it from there. And we don't even get the 1,000 ounce blocks anymore.
Interesting.
So that tells me that it's undervalued and that it's going to pop soon.
Yeah, so from just hearing that, definitely we know it's undervalued, but yet, however it's coming in to where it looks like that they're trying to either get their source or get their metals from anywhere they can find it to where it's not coming in the traditional form rather. So I wonder where are they getting these last minute supplies if they're coming in, not in their conventional bar form. So, and then the question is, I know that the Chinese, the gold Chinese exchange, whatever, I can't think of off the top of my head, but they're having their metals, they're having the metal put it in a different measurement. So I can't think of it offhand. My mind is still not fully fresh yet. But yet I know that they're no longer doing it according to how we weigh and measure over here. So I wonder.
Kilograms, whatever they call them.
was it kilogram bars or I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's all metric. You know, we're in the English system.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting hearing it from him, and he was telling me that they mixed the silver with palladium too, and they used it, and that goes to electronics manufacturing. And I just thought it was very interesting, you know, hearing it from him.
Yeah.
And I just think at 15 an ounce, it makes no sense, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But yet, it's one of the things where, as I always mentioned before, I'm very appreciative of having a chance to acquire at still unbelievably low prices. So I'm not in a rush. I'm not really in a rush for them to lose control of the manipulation. I tend to utilize it and enjoy it as long as I can, because I know that it can't last forever. But they can paper and plastic over it for, you know, a couple more years. Who knows? But take advantage of the opportunity to get your weight up under these conditions. So, man, hey, man, I appreciate you for sharing that. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, man, thank you. I'm going to let you go, man. I'm going to go somewhere. But I just thought I'd let you know that because it was just very interesting to hear it from a source that's close to it.
Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing that. And also, man, like if you're for your friend you're referring to, feel free to have him call in, man, and give us a little bit more insight. If he wants to educate us a little bit more, I'll be appreciative of that.
Yeah, he tests the actual metal for purity, and he also audits and says how much they lose. Every time you melt metal, you lose a percentage of it. Forever. You know what I mean? Like it's part of the smelting process.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Probably some of the remnants left over that don't get poured in. So, but hey, man,
I think copper is 88% recyclable. There's like a 12 or 11% that is gone forever every time they smelt this. Every metal has that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta go, man.
I appreciate you. Thanks for calling in, man. Have a good night. Yeah, man, that's informative. That is very informative. First call of the evening. And we get a chance to hear about how a actual person behind the scenes is actually seeing things from their perspective. So I appreciate that call. And as always, appreciate you guys calling in. And so let's. I'm trying to get back in sync. One of my microphones isn't working correctly, so I gotta make up for that. But other than that, we'll keep moving, man. Let me get to the chat a little bit and find out what's going on. And so Jesse James said, anybody know who won the Israel election? Jesse James, I do not know. And since I'm on here, let me go ahead and pull something up here and find out, and we can talk about it together. Israel election. See what pops up. Blue, white, 2009 elections, Israel elections. Looks like, let me see here. I'm not even familiar with who's running. So let me. We got a call. Let me get to this call here, and then we can keep this thing moving. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, my name's Matt. I'm in St. Louis right now.
Matt from St. Louis. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind this evening?
Hey, everything's good. Listen, I was curious. Did you hear a few days ago Saudi Aramco came out and they said that the Guar oil field had peaked, and it went from 5 million barrels a day of oil production down to, I think, 3.4 million barrels a day. It's the world's largest oil field.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I did not hear that directly. Was that some new release or information or whatever that was released via news, or was that how'd you come across that? I didn't hear anything about that.
Bloomberg. It was last week. I heard it. Bloomberg. I read an article about that, and they said it's the world's largest oil field, and it's been going on since it's been pumping since the 40s or something. And like I said, long term. Like Matthew Simmons. I don't know if you ever got a chance to read the book Twilight in the Desert, but he said something when Guar peaks, humanity peaks. I mean, the guy died 10 years ago, and there are a lot of predictions that didn't necessarily come true or haven't come true yet. But I was just wondering what your thought was on the whole peak oil theory.
Definitely. Okay, so I'll share my thoughts on it. So I don't tend to cover peak oil, even though I know energy makes the world go round, and I know that petroleum has everything to do with how we've been on this monetary system we're on now, as far as the petrodollar. And so I wonder, from you mentioning that, the first thing that came to my mind was the whole NOPEC situation that came out last week that I did a little video on, about the Saudis now talking about dumping the dollars if the legislation gets a little bit more momentum here in Congress and whatnot. So I would imagine if between that oil peaking over there and that particular OPEC situation coming about. I think that could be interconnected to where I do see some problems coming. So my question would be, will the price of oil now be reflected in this situation that's happening in Saudi with their oil being basically we're almost running out? And so I wonder, has anything to do with the Saudis looking to move out east now and partner with Russia and China and do all those type of deals? So I think it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds. But as long as they're able to have, I'm assuming they have some type of reserves that they can try to cover up what may not be coming from the ground to keep those barrels still flowing as normal. But yet I think it'll all come to the light depending on what the prices are out of the OPEC nations. So time will tell. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, they've got more oil fields than just Guar. That's just their biggest one. But they were talking about like the Cantarell oil field down in Mexico. I believe right around 2000 that peaked, and it was pumping somewhere in the neighborhood of like 3 million barrels a day. And now that oil field is down to like 250, 300,000 barrels a day just over the course of 20 years. I mean, it's literally like the oil production's collapsed. And I know Saudi Arabia's got more oil fields, but I know they've got a lot more pumps. And just reading, I actually started reading a book again just because it's been, so many years since I read Twilight in the Desert.
Yeah.
And the number of pumps that they have, I guess right around 2000, they only had like 10 or 15 just real pumps in their country. And as of like 2006, when the book came out, it was like it was over 100 or 200 pumps that they started to, and the water injection, the gas injection to try to help production keep it going up.
Yeah.
And it just really just boggles my mind that made like very little news at all. I mean, like I said, just a little snippet in Bloomberg, and then that was it.
Yeah. Now, hearing even more of that, I wonder, does this play along with what we're currently looking to do in Venezuela with removing Maduro and the idea of probably going in there and tapping some of those reserves that are probably untapped, definitely untapped, in need of bringing into the world, bringing out from underneath the ground, because they probably are sitting on the greatest and the biggest reserves that haven't been exploited just yet. So perhaps this is all interconnected with the dollar and the oil situation. So yeah, man, I definitely believe it is all connected. So as time moves forward, we're going to find out more and more about what's happening in Saudi as well as what happened down in Venezuela. So, but man, I appreciate you calling and sharing that. Thank you.
All right, have a good night. Bye-bye.
You too. Yeah, man. Oil. So yeah, that's one thing I never really got into much of in the past as far as covering the oil. I know Chris Martinson from Peak Prosperity, he does a great job of covering the oil, as well as SRS Rocco. They really cover how much oil comes out of the ground and everything to do with that. So I leave that to those gentlemen. I just talk more so about what the oil is denominated in the form of the PetroDollar, and how, wherever the oil goes, definitely the PetroDollar follows, and therefore everything that we save and invest. But with that being the case, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, I don't have a lot of minutes. I'm going to make this quick. Nigger.
Okay, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate your call to share your thoughts. It takes a lot of energy, man, to be very, ignorant and, whatever. Anyway, my point in case is, whatever the oil goes, the currency goes as well. And so the question will be, if inflation hits, like people the central bankers are trying to have more of it in our economy, then where will that play into with the current price of oil and the dollars and everything else? So definitely, man. But I want to get back to some information before that first call about the elections in Israel. And here's some articles here. And let me see what we can pull up here. So just looking at, here's some results, some 2019 election results as of this evening. And so it looks like 93% have been reported. And I'm not even familiar with the parties over here, but it says the Blue and White Party, the Likud, the Shas, and the United Torah Judaism. So it looks like, according to the Blue and White Party is tied with the Likud, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So if anybody have any insight and have had a chance to study that, feel free to call in. I would love to hear some more about that and some of the candidates there, because I haven't been paying attention to that. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Typo from Massachusetts.
Typo, how you doing this evening? What's on your mind?
Oh, your shows are so fantastic. I love them. Thank you so much for making this opportunity for everybody.
No, I appreciate you calling in.
I recently heard an interesting thing, and I wanted to get your take on it. Crypto was designed to be able to, for the bankers to be able to pull it when they needed to pull the bottom out of it after the fall. That was what I heard, and I was just curious. I have crypto. I love crypto, but it gives even more of a solid hand to having silver and gold when you need it.
Right.
So I just wanted your thoughts on it. Thanks.
No problem. Well, thanks for calling in. Thanks for mentioning that. And so, as always, as I mentioned before, I do believe cryptocurrency is strategically placed in this particular time to be a second alternative to gold and silver, and more so because I think and I believe that it's going to be positioned as a part of the next monetary structure or system, whatever that might be. It's going to be completely digital. They're going to remove paper notes, fiat currencies from us, and give us even more digits beyond what we have now in the form of our bank accounts and whatever. But cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin and all the top coins, will be the easiest and the most convenient to use for a transfer of fiat currency denominations of whatever currency you're currently using across waters, across anywhere at a much faster pace. So I think it is a part of the plan to get into the next system a lot easier. And so definitely it's not going anywhere. It is an official asset class as of now. So if you are aware and in tune and interested in speculating or AKA gambling right now, because it's still early, then you might come out in some projects better than most, but yet all of them will not be around 10, 20 years from now. Definitely. And so there'll be some other currencies. Now it's just a matter of being patient and waiting till the next monetary system is rolled out to where they're going to issue some type of legal tender coin, which might be government or hopefully not central bank based or led, but I can see some type of government issue coin that is attached to all of our everything we do will go through that coin. And I always mentioned before how I see our social security number one day being a part of that as well. So not sure how to play out, but medical records, your driver's license, everything that has to do with your personal identity might follow through or flow through some type of coin-based blockchain system. So that's my thoughts on that. But Typo, appreciate you calling in and sharing that. And so, yeah, as far as the Israeli elections, I don't know. I don't really follow it much, so I don't know. I don't want to speak on it much. But for those that might happen to follow it, feel free to let us know in the chat what your thoughts are. And so let me get into some of the questions in the chat. I've missed a lot. Yeah, as far as that rude interruption, pay it no mind. Like, who has time to really give it energy, man? Keep it moving on things that matter. What do we got? A lot of questions here. So let me see. Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard with 30.5 million oils. Heard that too. I'm awfully confident that those bars Mnuchin was looking at were just gold painted turds or tungsten. Yeah. NOPEC wants to get rid of the petrodollar, no doubt. And so it says, Mike, some people are start to talk about making SDRs the one world currency. That could delay the real collapse for a while, maybe. Okay, I've also noticed more people talking about SDRs. I think even Jim Rickards has a book coming out, so he's out even talking about it. But the SDRs will be a payment method, type of system for the central banks primarily. And so it's going to be interesting to see how the governments get involved with that, because I think it's the central banks that will directly be holding and basically doing transactions on behalf of governments. And so once again, it's still debt-based notes and digital ledgers that aren't really backed by anything solid. So I'm not quite sure how China and Russia will take to the SDR as being the next option outside of a dying petro system, dollar system, whatever, because it's more debt-based, made up out of nothing mediums of exchange that are, being positioned by the same people who have enslaved the world with debt in the first place. So I think it might be suggested. I think the SDR and IMF, which is after the Bretton Woods, was produced by and led by the United States of America. But I think a part of this next new economic system, or whatever it might be called, SDRs will be they will attempt to use SDRs. But I think, as we're seeing from all the activity with gold from central banks, as well as what China and Russia are accumulating, I would imagine if it is SDR, they're going to definitely put some weight on it to where they're going to want nations that have the most SDRs to have basically heavy vaults as well when it comes to metals. So I wouldn't bank on SDRs, but once again, I don't think SDRs will never touch the hands of the citizens. Therefore, your best option, in my opinion, is definitely have something tangible and physical in the form of weight. That's just my 2 cents there. And so what else we got here? It says my Bcash is looking awfully good right now. Yeah, Bcash had a nice little pump last week out of nowhere. I'm not sure where, how, what, where, but I know Roger Ver was definitely happy. So I wouldn't put it past that whole team there to have invested a little bit heavier by selling something else. And so we got Micah. It says, one, it's obvious that there is way more paper gold on the COMEX than there is physical gold. And they keep refusing to deliver physical. It's going to sky high. Then silver will follow. Micah, I believe I agree 100%. And it's only so much longer that people who invest or are entangled with the whole COMEX system will continue to settle for cash settlements or more promissory paper extension in the form of those contracts. So definitely, as many commentators in alternative media space have mentioned for quite a while now, there's been more and more people behind the scenes that are getting physical, but yet the supply, as far as them people being able to actually get 100 million, billions type of tonnage, might not be as plentiful as it used to be. So where will people go to get that gold? I don't know. I know also I did an article, I think last week, about ETFs, the electronic traded funds or whatever. Those gold futures have also spiked as well. So people are getting to those as if they're physical, but yet, those aren't any better than the COMEX, in my opinion. Golden Silverman says, you have a great show, Mike. Keep up the work. I appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support. I can't call in, but I was wondering what you think. We got IHG says, I have about 150,000 of silver that I have inherited and wondering what you thought I should do. Sell, save, trade for gold. In my opinion, once again, not able to give financial advice. I am just a alternative media commentator and a monetary enthusiast. But in my opinion, if someone gave me 150K in weight, I would sit on that weight and stay heavy as long as I could, just because what exactly are you planning on getting out of that? What do you plan on getting out of and getting into that has the historical importance and the monetary track record that silver has? And so clearly it is the most undervalued metal that I'm aware of and currently. And so to go anywhere else, in my opinion, would be foolish. So I would stick where I'm at. Never mind it, set it up somewhere, let it do what it do. It doesn't earn anything. It doesn't take away from anything apart from storage. But at the end of the day, all digital and paper currencies will be held accountable from governments in the actual physical price of metals. So in my opinion, I don't think you will go wrong by sitting heavy and just riding this roller coaster out, because definitely by being heavy, you won't, or more than likely will not be blown away when this monetary hurricane comes through and blow all those digits and paper away with it. So just my opinion. But yeah, good question. It says rather 55 years early. What else we got? Omnibone, how you doing? We got a couple more people in the chat. I'm way behind the chat. Let me get caught up. It says Mike does own Litecoin and he accepts it as donations. Yeah, so I am a believer and a person that am excited about a few different projects. And so from the donation button beneath this video, I believe, if it's still there, or rethinkingthedollar.com/donation, there's a couple coins there that I believe are of value currently. And so I accept those for anyone that are willing to donate to the RTD channel. And as always, before I move any further, I forgot all about this, but what I typically do, if you've enjoyed the back and forth, and so I know I'm on a different microphone, so it might sound a little different, but if you've enjoyed the back and forth and you've enjoyed the chat and whatnot, we won't be on much longer, but I want you guys to donate a thumbs up. Don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button. Forgive my ashy hands. Someone made fun of my hands earlier today. Like, your hands so ashy. I use them. But anyway, don't be afraid to donate a thumbs up to the channel. I appreciate that. That's the best way to support, and it costs you absolutely nothing to smash that thumbs up button. Appreciate it, Typo. So let's keep it moving. I see something interesting here. It says universal income will lock up the slavery. Yeah, universal basic income or universal basic allowance is coming. And so definitely the question is when you do get your allowance, if it's given out to everyone directly, because I think definitely those that are expecting Social Security, as Andrew Yang mentioned, they won't get, I think they won't get Social Security, but they'll get that allowance. So it'll be an even spread. Everybody gets it. Every adult above 18 years old in the household gets it. So the question is, if Andrew Yang gets momentum and excites people, or even if Andrew Yang doesn't become the primary Democratic candidate to run, whoever gets the Democratic nomination will jump on that bandwagon and want to use the universal basic income in the form of $1,000. And it's going to start off sweet to a lot of people. A lot of people feel they're going to be getting something for free, but nothing in this world for free. Everything comes at a cost. Basically, what that cost will end up resulting in is guaranteed inflation down the line, as well as just higher prices. And so definitely, we're having issues. There's an article. I was actually going to do a video earlier, but one of the viewers contributed in the comment section. And so, but it has to do with the idea that we're right now at all-time highs in rent increasing. So it increases basically, I think was it $4 a month or something like that. So right now, if you're living on the coast, you're already paying all-time highs. If you're living in New York, I want to say it's like average rent is like $2,800, $2,600, $2,900 a month in New York. I mean, that's crazy, man. And so that's not even counting the problems people are having with being able to get affordable housing to actually to take out a mortgage on, because housing is so inflated in price. So yeah, man, it's gonna come a point where that $1,000 won't really do you much. So the question is, if you got your $1,000, what would you do with it? And me for sure, and choosing to downgrade or to cut off some things in my life that I don't need, I allocate that towards things I believe will appreciate in value. And along with that $1,000, if I was to get that, I know where it's going. It's going to something that's tangible and real, as long as I can get it. Just because I'm patient. I'm very patient with mine. But that's just me. Mike, what about the USD being a high-performing asset class in 2018? Cash is king, then what? Brando Commando. And so as of now, because we all are living in a fiat currency-based system, cash is king, but yet a lot of people, unfortunately, don't have a lot of cash because most people are utilizing their credit cards we have more people going into their home equity now using that same thing from, that we learned from 2008, 2009-ish and before. But the problem is a lot of people don't have access to cash in the form of disposable income. So they're using credit. So there is a valid time and usage for cash because it's still legal tender now and it's still accepted. But as time goes on, as all the dominoes around us continue to fall, more and more people and governments will move away from the Federal Reserve note. And by doing so, cash will still have value because people won't really know that the events that are occurring are all related and connected to the cash itself. And so there will come a time when confidence and faith in the system is lost. And that's when people will realize that it's not the price of things going up, but it's the actual purchasing power of the notes that they're holding on to are going down. And when that happens, people will realize that cash is not king because people will be looking the velocity of money, as Gregory Manamarino over at Money GPS often mentions. When that thing starts to pick up, then that's when faith is lost. Therefore, there's going to be more people looking to get rid of their cash and using some other vehicle of transportation, or not transportation, but means of exchange. And I think that's why cryptos will be utilized for some. And then, of course, fractional metals or whatnot. And as I always tell people, it's always good to have small denominations of certain things. And so that's one of the things, part of the RTD Gold team is having those cash gold notes, because those are small denominations of gold that, have value, and they will not go to zero because of what's inside the note. So definitely something, if you guys are interested, take advantage of that. And so if you actually go to the RTD RethinkingTheDollar.com store/store, I actually have cash gold notes on sale in the store. So if you guys are interested, feel free to visit the store. But as always, let's keep this party moving. Let me get caught up in the chat here. It says, Spirit King says, Mike, I believe that we will be on the 30% unemployment mark. People will start dying and they will have to act fast. Yeah, unemployment rate, those numbers we were given and the job reports, I don't pay attention to that because I don't really take it as good information that's being given as truthful, because after every recession that we've had in my adult life, I believe, and I've heard a lot of commentators mention that all they do is just change how they calculate and how they measure to come up with a more favorable number for their own agenda, like the inflation rate. You know, if you're a fan of what's his name, John Williams from Saddlestat, we all know that they changed the calculations and what they actually incorporate in the measuring tools for inflation by taking out, was it food, energy, rent, or whatever, some of the most important things to give us a more favorable, give them a more favorable inflation rate. So if that being the case, if we use 1980 give or take inflation target method to today, John Williams says we're about 7, 8, 9, 10. And so if that's the case, then we are already experiencing, you know, relatively high inflation in certain areas. But we all know where the most inflated assets are at this current point. And I do believe that now that Trump wants some QE4, and as he will get that as we move further this year, because as things continue to slow down and the recession becomes obvious, they're going to need to pump some funny money into the system. And the question will be, where will that new funny money go? Will it go to more of the inflated stock market, or will it go to continue to increase the housing prices, or will it go into things that are undervalued right now, which would be metals and cryptocurrencies as alternative storages of value? So I believe that you know, the things that are already inflated right now, the bubbles that we all know, the debt-based bubbles are already inflated. Those are going to continue to go up. But then again, there's going to be some people and a lot of the the smart money looking to get out of that, because they know that this next round of QE, whatever it might be, will be problematic and to their hard-earned money. So you have all those millionaires, billionaires that have worked hard or not and are sitting heavy on paper and digits. They're going to be looking to acquire other assets that are probably cheaper for them, because I'm gonna imagine if you're a billionaire, you've already probably bought up all the $100 million pieces of art you can find. You've already probably bought all the $1 million Corvettes from the 1970s and 60s, to the point where can you store that stuff? You're gonna need something different that doesn't take up much space in your house or in your vault. And what would that be? More metals, as well as other forms of metals, more, of course, land. But then also, what's getting mainstream attention right now is the cryptocurrency. So I can imagine pretty soon, as a way of just getting out of the old financial system, more people are going to find out about new and smarter ways to get involved in the crypto sector. And that's why I think this next round of QE will be very beneficial for those that have been hodling for quite some time. That's my opinion. So we got more stuff here, and so forgive me if I don't get to everybody, because it seems we got a lot. It says, get your weight up and hoist the colors. Shane, I like that one. I am still weird feeling about crypto, but I still have some myself. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's all experimental, man. It's in the beginning phase. You know, in my opinion, you shouldn't throw your life into it, because who knows where it's going to go. But there are some coins that have use case now, and it's those coins that should probably get your attention. But do your research and study up and make sure you're willing to. If you lost it all, you still wouldn't be mad. That's how you can gauge, in my opinion, where you're at and how heavy you should be involved. If you lost it all, would you be mad? Of course you'd be mad, but would it be the end of your world? And if not, you know, keep doing what you do. But I have a super chat. I want to acknowledge that. Dominique, I appreciate that. It says the U.S. declared Iran National Guard a terrorist. Yes, I did see that. And so once again, I'm not sure. Let me actually look that up, because I'm not sure of actually how that even came about and what was the event that triggered that, other than that's just something we seem to do. It gives us something. Okay, so here we have an article here. So I'll put this up on the screen, and we can look at it. Let's see what pops up. So here we have from Fox News. It says U.S. labels elite Iran force a foreign terrorist organization. And so here we have, yeah, man, so that's another thing. I watch a variety of alternative media and travel YouTubers, and there's a couple gentlemen that I'm watching. They're not from U.S., they're from New Zealand and Australia, but they're currently in Iran right now, and they're going, doing the touristic side of things for that country, and it looks beautiful. And from everything I've gathered, if it was possible for U.S. citizens to visit there, I definitely would go, because I believe, of course, whatever we're told is not the main story. So that's why I don't take all this stuff as being real. Iranians are peaceful people in a sense, where they're not trying to outright destroy all of America and Americans. It's more so the people and the governmental structures that try to impose and dictate to them. Those are the ones that they don't care for, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so man, here's the article here. So I see that. Appreciate you for sharing that. And so we have another super chat. Let me acknowledge this. It says from Typo, it says spring looking for prep communities, anyone else? Spring looking for prep communities, anyone else? Yeah, man, that's another thing. I think Typo, I think you mentioned that, of some communities in your area that you know of. So feel free, if people are involved in those type of communities, don't be afraid to share where they're located at and some contact information in the chat, and I'll definitely make sure it gets through, and we can go from there. It says, excuse me. It says they have always fine communities because of the gold and silver high, paper lows. What about asset and labor-backed currency? All right, rest in peace, Current. It says, what about asset and labor-backed currency? Do me a favor, elaborate on that exactly. Labor-backed currency equals like communism? Yeah, man. Feel free to elaborate on that more. But we're coming up on a hard line, and I wanted to definitely get on here to connect with some people. And so it looks like we had a good back and forth, man. As always, my last little plea to donate, if you guys don't mind, a thumbs up to the channel so more people can find out about what goes on here. And other than that, man, I'm getting back in the swing of things, so definitely look forward to continuing to keep you guys plugged in and get some guests on here and keep things moving forward and add to the community, man. As always, to my left here, I got a couple resources, some free information. So scroll down below. Is also have a sponsor right here, the magazine. Feel free to show them some love over there. And other than that, if anyone's interested in joining the RTD Gold team, as always, right now is a great time to get your weight up, taking advantage of other manipulation as much as you can. And so as me, you know, I practice what I preach, so I try to get my weight up any way I can. And so if anybody's interested in finding out more, feel free to join the team or just email me and I'll get you more information. Other than that, look forward to bringing you more live streams this week. Get back on schedule. Be back here tomorrow night, same time, same place, 9:30. Invite a friend, and I will see you guys tomorrow evening. Other than that, be safe, be blessed. Peace out.